Got a sketch on the table, got some dust on my jeans. Turn a frame into a family place, from a blueprint to a dream.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Mass Builder KE. I'm so happy you're here. I hope you get to learn something and watch till the end. This is such a beautiful drive, but hey, this road will show us dust because of the rains. On this day, we were doing the setting out process, so we opted to use survey tools to map out the house on the ground, and that's what's happening here. And this option for us felt more precise, like it gives you more precision, and also it takes a bit less time than the traditional method of finding your diagonals with rope. After we finished mapping out the entire piece of land and having the metal bars nailed onto the ground, the white chalk was poured all around to map out the house. And then it was time to find the level, so to transfer this drawing on ground to a higher surface to enable the trenches to be dug without losing the coordinates that had been mapped out for the house. And we're using a traditional method of water leveling. And this is really interesting because did you know that water finds its own level? So traditionally people used animal intestines, fill them with water, and then they used glass. But the whole premise is based on the fact that the water surface at both ends of a hose will always be exactly at the same height, no matter the shape of the hose or the distance between them. And this is because gravity pulls down on the water until the pressure is equal everywhere in the system. And because water cannot be squished, Pascal's law forces the water to find the exact same height in both ends of the hose. So it's a really good and solid method to use, especially when your land is slanted like ours is.
To a dream, build it better, step by step. Watch your eyes, watch what's next. From the ground up, come and see how we make this house a home on your screen with me. Hey!
Next, the fundi uses the plumb bob or kafiro, which is another old but very reliable tool used in construction because it relies on the law of gravity. So it helps you to make sure that things are perfectly upright, while the water level makes sure that things are flat. So that makes this tool really perfect for centering or finding your centers. After that, while all that was going on, we also tested the materials before they were delivered. So having a look at the sand, the quality of the rock sand, the ballast. So before we order in bulk, I think this is something I would recommend. And that brings us to the end of this particular day of setting up. See you tomorrow. So the next day, the trenching began and the trenches were dug real deep, making sure to adhere to the different sets of leveling. So the trenches towards the front of the house are a bit shallower and the ones towards the back of the house are much more deeper. And as you can see, we also got to the stable level of the soil, which in some cases you actually reach the maram, and we reached the maram on our property. And then remember those posts that we transferred levels to using the kafiro? The levels were transferred now back down into the trenches to make sure that the lines where the stones will be lined up for the foundation are going to be perfectly aligned. So that's what's happening here. If you live in Kenya, you know some parts of Kenya have been raining, like it's been a serious downpour. It's really beautiful and cozy, and honestly, it's one of my favorite weathers. And despite the challenges this has caused us in terms of like our trucks getting stuck on the road and losing out on building time. I'm really grateful for the rains because, you know, food crops will grow. Yeah, so kind of like a bittersweet feeling. I remember on this day I was just finding myself staring, enjoying the rain, but also feeling a bit worried about the road. And yeah, this, as you can see, the trucks got stuck. This one was bringing rock sand. Another one that was bringing river sand also got stuck. But all in all, we managed to get them out, and we came up with a solution, which you will see. I also wanted to mention quickly that we are using steel bars on our construction, even though we are building a bungalow and not a maisonette, because the steel really helps with the making sure that your structure is strong and you have a very, very strong foundation. It helps to reinforce the load because the concrete is excellent at handling compression, which are the squeezing forces, but it's very weak in the stretching or bending forces, which are the tension forces. So the steel reinforcement really helps. Guys, back to the road. This is what we were dealing with. This truck was stuck for about 24 hours. Can you imagine? And it left a really big hole on the road. So it's like every time a truck got stuck, the road would become worse than it was before, understandably so. So we opted to fix the road with hardcore and msongo, which is just broken pieces of rock that are gotten from the quarry. And of course, this was an unexpected cost, but it was a necessary thing for us to do because the delays with the materials were also accruing costs in terms of you lose time. So the work that was supposed to be done is not done because there are no materials, and then the people still have to come back the next day, which means you're paying them extra. So there's those kinds of challenges and hidden costs with this kind of a construction. However, we finally managed to fix the road, and the concrete was poured into the trenches, and our foundation building is going on strongly. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you've learned something. Please leave your questions or comments in the comment boxes below, and I will do my best to get back to you. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.